Hello, welcome to episode 78 of Your Ultimate Comeback. One of your hosts, Brad, and Raquel is finally back with us.
Yes.
How did volleyball end up for your daughter?
It was good. It was good. They made it all the way to the semifinals and lost, sadly, but it was
Final four.
Final four out of
Division
the whole
One
country.
College beach
Yes,
volleyball. That's
yes.
pretty insane.
It was great.
Yeah.
And
Your daughter played great. I watched. I was super
Thank you.
proud of her.
Thank
I
you.
love being able to tell people I train her.
Yeah. Well,
She's a beast.
you might be a little biased as a mom.
I'm super biased, but
That's okay. We like it.
I try to look at it unbiased, but she jumps so much higher. She hits so much harder than anyone I've ever watched her play. So I like that part of it.
Yes, for sure. and I know you definitely have had some impact in that for sure.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Her vertical jump have gone up, 8 inches since I started
Something
with her?
crazy.
Yeah. I
They
think
even said that on the telecast.
Yeah, she has a 30-inch vertical jump.
Yeah.
If you know anything about vertical jump for a female athlete, that is crazy phenomenal.
She wants 31 or something like that
Well,
now.
of course, as an athlete, you always want a little more.
Yeah. So, but it's good to be back in the studio. It's been way too long. Miss being here. Miss chatting with you, doing our regular.
Yeah, good to have you back.
Yeah,
It's super
thank you.
boring by myself.
Well, you got Steph on. She
Oh yeah, she was great.
amazing.
That was a fun
Yeah,
episode. Yeah, for sure.
No.
I want to. So my last episode on shingles, I want to tell everyone, I was in a crazy amount of pain trying to record that.
I'm sure you were.
It was might be one of the most. It was the most horrific thing I've ever dealt with, pain wise, relentless pain wise. And I said something wrong on the podcast, and I just want to validate it. And what I said was, if you don't know what shingles are, the dormant chickenpox vaccine. I meant to say dormant chickenpox virus.
Right.
That comes back later. So I just want to correct that before I get hammered on for saying the wrong thing. So I
and the
apologize.
memes come out again.
Yeah, my gosh. So super sorry about that.
Okay.
But I am validating that I was wrong and that I am fixing it.
Perfect.
I also want to address that. I don't even know how to address it, but like the world that I live in, the world we live in,
Yes.
fitness, health, nutrition. There's so many different views,
Absolutely.
and I shared something a while back that I had learned from a doctor talking about the immune system and stress and what I see with my high achieving CEO types and myself included.
Right.
And that post went viral. And it went viral in a very negative way.
Yes.
Very negative way. And I feel like there was one or two things. A lot of it was confusing and misunderstanding because it was just a short clip
Taken
of the
out
full
of context,
podcast.
for sure.
And I know because it's been viewed like over 6 million times,
Yes.
but only 500 people listened to the actual episode.
Right.
So I just want to I was talking about high performing, high stress CEO types and the things that I see and what I learned from a doctor in regards to that. I recently had a doctor challenge it and say that I was completely wrong, and it's actually the opposite of what I said. I'm actually going to have him come on and be a guest.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Because I am, at first, I won't lie, at first, I was pretty upset.
Sure.
I didn't like the approach. It hit me the wrong way. But I decided, I want to have him on as a guest, and so we'll do that. And I want to learn from him. If I am completely wrong and what I was taught from the doctors I was seeing at the time when I was going through it is wrong, I would like to know what's right and be able to share what's right.
Absolutely.
But the way I learned it, the way I've seen it, I mean, I was able to Google it. It's on WebMD, how I learned it. So I don't quite understand how I'm so wrong,
Right.
but we'll get to the bottom of it.
But I think you're
add a little more
right
clarity to it.
about the context. I mean, the small little snippet kind of
Yeah.
being taken out of context. I think people were thinking you were saying you have to be sick. Do you know what I mean? I think they were kind of twisting it that you were saying, if you're never, it's, and I guess I can understand. Well, one thing I've learned is, in this small platform that we have is people, we have a lot of people that say great things and people that appreciate us. I do hear that all the time about you and me, but there are some detractors. There's always going to be.
Well, and there's always going to be, yeah.
Right.
And in that scenario, I feel like it went so sideways
Yes.
because it was misinterpreted.
Yes.
Because they didn't hear the whole,
Yes.
it was just a clip.
Yes.
But just to be clear, I was talking about the letdown effect. I shared a
Right.
little video about
Right.
that. It's what I learned I was going through. Because what would happen with me is that when I'm in a really high stressed kind of chronic state with a lot going on, I perform really well. I'm never sick.
Right.
But as soon as the stress dissipates just a little bit, I will get sick. I got the shingles.
Right.
And I deal with that with a lot of my CEOs is that when they're just cranking and they're in a chronic stress and they're sleep deprived and they're just going,
Yeah.
they're not sick. But as soon as they go on vacation, they get really sick. And I learned it as a letdown effect That's what I was sharing.
Right.
I don't know why that was so horrible.
Yeah.
Except that maybe it was misinterpreted, or again, maybe the doctor that I was seeing at the time, because what he taught me and how to deal with it really helped.
Yeah.
Like I own this shingles that I got because I knew what was going on. I was loaded to the tilts, trying to deal with a bunch of stressful things, and I wasn't doing a good job. I was training with a professional athlete. If I'm 49, I was doing all the work as a professional athlete, had all the stress going. I was overdoing it, and I was cooking it, and and so I wasn't surprised when, as soon as one of the big stressors dropped, within 3 days it happened.
Yeah.
And how I understand it is, it's the letdown effect. Is that the immune system is suppressed when you're under that kind of stress load, and as soon as the stress goes away, bang,
Right.
it can happen. So the immune system activates and starts doing things. So I don't know. We'll find out.
I've experienced the same thing.
Yeah.
I have. So but maybe we're not talking about, chronically ill patients, or
Definitely not talking about
right.
that. And this show is not for those people.
Of course not. Yeah.
And I maybe haven't done a good job over the years of referencing. Like, I work with healthy, high-performing people.
Yes.
I don't work with sick people. I'm not a doctor. I don't try to play doctor. And I've learned over the years that a lot of situations that healthy, high-performing people are dealing with, it's different. And what they need is different.
Sure.
And I mean, shoot, I became a diabetic by avoiding carbohydrates.
Right.
That's not supposed to happen.
And someone would argue that with you, probably.
100%. I went 10 months without touching carbohydrates, and I became a type 2 diabetic.
Yeah, it was just wild.
Yeah, I was crazy stressed, training super hard. I was part of the U.S. bobsled team. I was just getting after it. And my stress was just out of control. And that, like that. Again, I have that tendency to overstress and overdo and push. And it's always something, as I said in that shingles, I got to work on. That shingles podcast I did by myself.
Right.
So I don't know. So I'm actually excited to have him on after I kind of got past the point of...
You guys, they're doing a cage match, you guys.
Oh, God. No,
Hot oil?
Yeah, definitely not that.
Okay. We might get more viewership, though, if you do that, Brad.
That would be horrible.
No.
No one wants to see that.
No,
Not many want to see that.
Our female fans may want to see that.
No. But no, I'm excited to learn from him, and that's how I decided to kind of go about it and take it, and then I'm actually excited to talk to him about other things as well that he's an expert in. So
For sure.
Yeah, so we'll get that set up here over the next month, and
Love it.
It'll be exciting.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm actually looking forward to it after I kind of really had a chance to think about it, and
Absolutely.
yeah.
But I think one thing you said that I think is very crucial is that's not the way you would have handled it.
I'll be honest with you.
You would have done it a little differently. That's okay. We're all...
I've never liked it when I see that happen to other people.
Yeah. It's a thing, for sure.
Yeah, but I have a lot of respect for him for reaching out and wanting to do a podcast.
Yeah.
I thought that was super cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that made me okay with it.
Not the other one, but that's okay.
So yeah, I mean that made me okay with it. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Because so many people with that were just so mean. Like, just behind their computers, just like saying stuff that you wouldn't say to someone typically to their face.
Yeah, right.
So the fact this guy shared his thoughts, and he's crazy smart.
Yeah.
And I read what he's saying. I'm like, wow, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I would love to learn from him. And if I said it wrong, I want to know, and I want to be able to give good advice. And if what I learned originally was wrong, it happens a lot in this world. I would like to know that.
Yeah. What is this called then?
Yeah. What is this? What am I dealing with?
Right.
Why does it happen like this to me?
Yeah.
Like, if it's supposed to be the opposite, where you get sick when you're really stressed, why do I never get sick when I'm really stressed?
Yeah.
And there are times I'm 6 months, 8 months of just crazy high stress. Like when I used to go on the road speaking all the time.
Yeah.
100 speaking engagements a year, I would never get sick on the road. I wouldn't get sick until I finally had a window of time to be home, and I wasn't on the road and I wasn't speaking. I would always get sick in that window of time, which would be like 3 times out of the year. But when I'm on the road, East Coast, West Coast, back and forth, all over the place, I was great.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So I'm really interested to hear, okay, well,
what that is.
What is that? Yeah. How do I, why does it happen that way?
It's some phenomenon.
Yeah.
Whatever, we know that.
Yeah.
Right?
Because from how I'm understanding from what these people are saying is that I should be really sick when I'm highly stressed on the road. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Find out.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
What else is going on?
What else is going on? Well, I survived going to Gulf Shores, Alabama. I know that sounds silly, but you know me, and you know what a freak I am about travel. And he's laughing, which is accurate. It's just not my forte. I'm not very good at it, I will say. And I think probably a lot of your clientele might be the same, that I am a super type A person. I like things the way I like things. I want my routine. I want to follow this procedure, whatever it is. That's why if you tell me something, I generally will go all in. Most, oh, okay, that's how I'm supposed to do it. Cool. And I kind of leaned in this time because this trip, of all of the trips that we took to go see our daughter, was a big one because it was planes, trains, and automobiles to get there. First of all, there's no direct flight in, and full day of travel. And so a lot of getting out of my comfort zone for sure. And I kind of leaned into, you know what, this is going to be uncomfortable, but I'm going to make the best of it, and this is going to be great. So I think I did. I mean, I actually came out of it was amazing to be there. I'm so glad I was. But I came out of it thinking, oh my gosh, look, what was I afraid of? It's interesting how we can build up these things in our minds that make them so much worse than they are. It could be something like that. It could be, and you talked about this, a conversation that we avoid. Once you've had it, you're like, why? That wasn't so bad. We're so good at freaking out about the unknown, I think.
Unknown is very stressful.
It really is. It really is.
I mean, I've one of the things I've learned about with like sport, they call it novelty stress. For example, if you train in the mornings,
yes,
but then you compete at night, that's novelty stress. Your body's not used to doing that stuff at that time period. So it's amazing how many things can stress us that we don't even really know about.
Right.
So, or like, for example, when I used to work with a lot more fighters, they would
fighters like UFC?
Like UFC fighters,
wow.
Yeah. They would have to create environments like really loud noise, crazy lights. Because what will happen is these guys train kind of in isolation, and all of a sudden there's 30 to 50,000 people watching them, screaming the lights.
Right.
It stresses them out, and they go a little bit what they call primal and just kind of lose technique. So you have to prepare these athletes to handle the new novelty they're going into as much as you can.
Right.
So.
Well, I know there's little things like I know Quinn's team, they play under the lights when they're at home. So there's practice for that, of course, for girls, because the depth perception is a little different under lights versus the sun. And, they go to Pismo Beach and train, even though they have the courts on campus.
Well, because they got to have time.
Right. Different sands. And Gulf Shores, interestingly, was very shallow sand, I was told.
Oh, interesting.
So it was a jumper's beach, apparently. But it's just so wild to watch all of that and just what, all of this culminating to the end of your season and going to nationals. It's just, I was never an athlete, so I don't understand it. You know what I mean? It's just such a new thing for me. And people always say, you weren't an athlete? What are you talking about? I wasn't. I never did team sports, really. You don't count AYSO as doing team sports, and
I think that kind of stuff's so good for little kids, though.
Oh,
there's
absolutely.
no stress and pressure on them. They can just play and develop physically.
They're picking dandelions, absolutely.
T-ball was still like my favorite.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, and my kids did junior guards. I don't know if your kids ever did that.
My kids have never wanted to do that.
No, we kind of, I don't want to say forced, but yes, forced, because we live so close to the beach. Yeah. We figured that's going to be something. We want you to be ocean savvy and to feel. So we said 2 years you have to do it.
Yeah.
And they really liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Kellen more than Quinn for sure, but it's just kind of a rite of passage, I think, for a lot of kids. But it's, I don't know, but just the whole trying to. You can't prepare for every scenario, whether you're the team or whether you're a parent traveling. And I wish I was more chill. I do, but then I wouldn't be as much fun. No.
I do a lot. I train Brendan Steele. I have for 12 years.
Yeah.
In the world of golf, there's so much
mental,
such a major mental side of it.
I bet.
I remember him telling me like one of the greatest things he learned from a mental coach was before he took the shot to become okay with whatever the outcome's going to be.
Wow. Okay.
Just to accept the outcome. That no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
So we get to that mindset and then go take the shot.
Okay.
And he said that was a pretty powerful thing. And so I think with people, like, they have to get to a point where, like, okay, I'm prepared as best I can.
Yep.
Whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Right.
I'm just going to do my process, and whatever happens, I'm going to be okay.
Right. And it's just that, I mean, how many clients do you have that don't follow your procedures? I bet not a lot. If people are paying the money to you
Yeah.
to see you, they're wanting results. They are not half-assing it. Would you
No,
agree with that?
my private clientele is pretty dialed.
Right. So if you say this is how you should handle something, they probably will follow instructions.
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky with that.
Yeah, definitely. But there becomes this whole sort of, are you going to have the fried crawfish tonight? Or you know what I mean? Those kinds of things and it's not, again, I know I've said this in here before. It's not me saying, oh, that's terrible or bad if you want to do that. It's just not what I want to do, And if I'm going ham on a meal, that is not what I want to go ham on. So it's just kind of getting used to accepting that, gosh, look at this amazing thing I get to do. And it's not going to be exactly the way I want it. And it's just, it's something I'm working on, definitely, something I'm working on. And, you had told me a long time ago that the stress over all of that stuff is worse than probably the stuff itself.
I think so.
Yeah, that makes sense. It really does. So I'm working on it.
I learned when I was on the road a ton that like when I got to the point, the first year I was on the road, I was so stressed about it because it's so hard to eat well and the time zone changes and the planes and it was a really rough first year.
I bet.
The second year, I came to the conclusion of I'm just gonna do my best when I'm on the road, and then when I come home, I'll just do what I'll just do everything I can to heal from any of the damage that I've done. And as soon as I just became okay with it, then every year after that was so much less detrimental on my body. But I was okay with if I was tired when I was on the East Coast, I wouldn't go work out. I would go take a nap.
Yeah.
And I was good. And accepting the fact, I remember Tom Ferry telling me, like, people don't understand when you are on stage, the amount of energy you burn, there's nothing like it.
Right.
So when I was first on the road speaking, like I would speak all morning and then I would try to go work out and I tried to do all the things.
No.
And after a while, I was like, no, I'm going to go speak all morning.
Yeah.
I'm going to have lunch. I'm going to go take a nap. So I would just, and once I took that route, things were I handled things a lot better. And then I would train hard and everything when I was home.
Mm-hmm.
I felt good on the road. If I stayed on the West Coast, I could do it. But if the farther east I went, the more I couldn't do it.
No, it's amazing what that time change will do to your body and how you feel.
Yeah, it jacks you up.
Yeah.
Did the girls go out a little early for a couple of days to kind of acclimate before?
Okay. They did. They left Tuesday, I believe, and got in obviously late Tuesday night. I think they were doing a Walmart run at 10:40 and it closed at 11, trying to get food for the condos. They went out Tuesday and play did not begin till Friday, so they got some time to acclimate. Yeah, and I think in hindsight, next year we will just go out a day early, just so you're not stressed. I mean, God forbid there's weather problems and your flight is canceled, then you're not losing your mind. I've really decided I really dislike airline travel.
It's hard.
It is. I don't. The whole. I don't know. I used to, when you're a kid, you think it's cool, right? And then but now it's just like, oh my God.
I remember the last speaking engagement I traveled for. I took it because I'd spoken in all 49 of the 50 states.
Yes.
And I finally had my speaking engagement in Maine.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, I got to do it.
Got to do it.
I got to do it. I want to be able to say I've spoken in all 50 states.
Yeah.
I remember I was supposed to speak at 8 a.m. The next day.
Right.
So I had a whole day to travel to get there. And I mean, it was the most horrific travel experience ever. First plane was canceled. Second plane, I got to the second state I was supposed to go to. Then that was canceled. Man. And they're like, oh, yeah, we can't get you there. I'm like, no, I have to be there at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Oh, my God.
So like, well, the only option is to fly you to Boston overnight. Mm-hmm. And then, so I did that. So I took an overnight flight to Boston, landed in Boston at 7, told the guy that I was speaking for, like, hey, I'm going to be a little late.
Yeah.
So I flew. I can't sleep on red eyes.
Brutal.
Land, I drive. And luckily, the place where I was speaking, the company I was speaking for is like this huge coffee company on the East Coast. So I walk into the headquarters, hadn't slept at all.
Yeah.
I hadn't showered. It was horrible.
Oh, man.
And the guy, he knew what was going on. He was like, just, thank you for being here.
Right.
He goes, and he opens up this cupboard, every kind of caffeine you could imagine. He's like, pick your poison.
Right.
So I slammed the caffeine scenario, did the speaking engagement. I think I was up for 32 hours straight before I finally got to go to sleep. Yeah, and I gave a half day presentation like that. When it was all said and done, I'm like, I never want to do that again.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Do you have a hard time falling asleep when you're that tired? I do.
Yes, I do.
What is that? I'm
don't-
afraid for us to say anything about what it is.
I think it's just elevated stress response,
my-
elevated stress
'Cause
hormones.
when we got home, I was so tired and I could not wait. And it was 2 hours later in
Yeah.
my brain, right? And I laid there for over an hour.
Yeah.
Before it's wild.
Yeah.
The kinds of things that happen.
Yeah, I think it's a stress response.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah.
I think it's some type of stress response.
It's wacky.
Because when you're sleep deprived, there's more, from how I understand it, there's more hormones running through the bloodstream. And like how I said that? How I understand
how you
it.
understand it, yes. Disclaimer. Maybe we need to have that little thing at the beginning. This is not medical information. This is, the little.
Probably should, yeah.
disclaimer.
I never think about that because
Yeah.
I'm never talking about sick people.
Right.
If someone is sick, I will not touch them. I will refer them to a doctor
Yeah,
until the
absolutely.
doctor says, okay, they're ready.
Right.
In any scenario.
Right.
If someone is in a disease state, I will not give any. It's not I can't.
Yeah, it's not your forte.
Not my forte. I'm not
Yep.
trained in it.
Yep.
I'm not the person to talk to. But if you're healthy and you're a high performer,
Right.
that's the world, and that's the world I speak to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, I think that's why I never think about it that way.
For sure.
'Cause I'm not ever giving anyone who's sick advice on what to do when they're sick.
Yeah. So you want to give us your update on how you're feeling?
Oh yeah. My shingles. Yeah. Pain is. I'm on day, I think, 19.
Give us they always say, tell us how your pain level is 1 to 10. What was it at worst point?
So day 7 through 10, it was a 12 out of 10.
No.
I have never experienced that excruciating level of pain because it's nerve pain. So my whole left.
So nothing makes it go away.
No, my whole left side of my body felt like it was burning and being electrocuted, and then I was having like pain shooting down my left leg, down my left arm. Have you ever had sciatic pain down
Yes.
the leg? It was
Oh.
so like my whole leg. It felt like someone stabbed me with a knife in my quad.
Whoa.
It was.
So it wasn't localized. It was other places.
Yeah, so I mean, because it runs on the nerve, and it was referring pain, and then and the weird part was it started to give me heart attack symptoms.
Oh, you said that.
Yeah,
I
which is
remember.
common. That scared the hell out of
I
me.
bet.
Yeah, and that finally went away over the last 2 days. Just really intense chest pain, the pain down the arm. I went to the doctor. I'm like, am I dying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he's like, no, and he put me in a position and showed me a position I could get in to alleviate the pain, which was so nice. But it's like you're sitting back, kind of like you're laying back but sitting up. So all day long while I'm working and trying to do things, I'm crazy, like nerve pain, heart attack symptom type of pain.
Jeez.
Yeah, I had the 3 days there. That day 7, I couldn't sleep. The pain was so intense at night. I remember the third night of not sleeping. I was 2:00 in the morning, in my living room on my knees, crying, screaming, like I just wanted. I couldn't. It was relentless.
Yeah.
Now it's like a 6 out of 10. So it's all kind of healing up.
Yeah.
But I guess the nerve pain is kind of the last thing to go.
Wow.
Yeah. It was interesting. I didn't take the antivirals that they tell you to take.
Yeah.
One, because by the time I realized what it was, I was kind of past the window where they say is like
it would
the
help.
best time to get after it.
Mm-hmm.
But I did a lot of the peptides of BPC 157 for the inflammation. So I was doing that twice a day. And then I was doing thiamus alpha 1, I think is how you say it. It's an immune system enhancer and also an antiviral.
Okay.
So I did a heavy run of that. And I pretty much have been on par with what the expectation is on the antivirals in regards to like where I'm at.
Because from start to finish, what does this look like?
They say 2 to 4 weeks. Usually like the first one is the worst one. So usually it takes about 4 weeks for it to fully dissipate. But sometimes the nerve pain can continue on for longer than that. But it's like I said, it's coming down. If it stayed like this, I'm so used to it that I could bear it. I can work, I can sleep, I can do all those things.
Right. Is there a specific area that it typically shows up?
From my understanding, it shows up on one side of the body.
Okay.
And it follows a nerve.
Oh, okay.
So the ribs is a pretty common place to have it, like the ribs, the back. I guess the only thing more painful than the ribs is like the scalp or the face.
Ooh.
And if it gets to your eye, it's really dangerous. Yeah. So yeah, I have so much empathy for people that have had it.
Yeah.
I remember my dad had it, and I was like, oh, how bad could it be? And like, holy
Yeah.
shit, I had no idea what he went through.
Right.
So pretty brutal, but
Well, I'm glad you're on the mend.
yeah, and it's a good
Reminder to chill.
yeah, figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because the most dangerous point for me is when I start to feel really good. Then I start saying yes to too much and taking on too much and thinking I can do more than I really
Right.
can.
Right.
It's always the most dangerous point for me.
Yeah.
And I know this, and as soon as I get back there, it's like, oh, I feel invincible. I can do so much.
Yeah.
And so I'm working really hard this time to whittle it down to the most important things, the hell yes things,
Yes.
and maintain that.
Yeah. Well, as I know you, and I think those that truly know you, you're someone you don't want to say no to people because you want to help them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's always been my a definite.
Yeah.
I think it's a positive, but also a weakness.
Sure.
Like,
I hear what you're
people
saying.
know they can come to me. And
Yeah.
people know that I will do what I can to help. And the problem is I get too overextended, and then I'm dropping the ball. I hate that.
Yeah.
That stresses me out.
Right,
I had a lot of that going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, I think there was definitely a time that I could tell that you were just at your max.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember when that was in the middle of all
your
that.
brain is I'm like, this brain is not functioning the way it normally does.
God, yeah. All you have to do is listen to a couple podcasts. That's the other thing I was struggling with. I was like, God, I didn't mean to say that. Like, that just came out wrong. Like, I'm just tired and in pain. Or
Right. I get that though.
Yeah. So, but like last week was really nice. Like, it's a pretty mellow week. A lot of people on vacation or out sick. And so I got to sleep a lot more. Instead of seeing 10, 12 people a day, I was seeing 6 to 8.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So, feeling a lot better today.
Perfect.
Excited for the nice weekend. And
what's happening next weekend? Oh, I thought you said I'm excited for next weekend.
Oh, no, it's for a nice weekend.
Oh, for a nice
weather's going to be good.
Weekend. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
My daughter has she has a volleyball tournament tomorrow. That's the only thing we have.
Nice.
Yeah, tomorrow morning.
Nice.
So it'll be a pretty mellow one.
And where's the tournament?
Out in Rancho Santa Margarita.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of those
cool
volleyball club places out there.
Yeah.
Just like a little local one. Like I think they do those for placements or whatever.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't have another big one I think they play a bigger one in Long Beach, I think next month, and then Dallas in July.
Oh, okay. Okay. Dallas.
That's their national one.
Travel more than when Quinn was doing club, I swear.
It's nutty.
Because I feel like we would travel maybe to Vegas for sure, and then maybe one other state. But I feel like you've gone a lot of places.
Oh, we've done this year.
Costa
We've
Rica.
done Costa Rica, Vegas twice, Reno,
Wow.
Austin, and we have Dallas still.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a ton.
Is that typical for all the clubs now?
I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know if obviously he's playing 17U. At 14U, there definitely was way less travel.
Yeah, right.
So the last 2 years, she's played 17U. So I don't know if it's just the level that she's at. Like, they travel more or what?
Yeah. Trying to get noticed at this point.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're trying to get as much attention as you can on yourself.
Mm-hmm. And she's still loving it.
Still loves it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, hoping she can find a place to play in college.
Oh,
and
she will.
Yeah, that's her kind of big dream, and she's going for it. I'm proud of her. Yeah.
Good. I love that. And your son's doing well. Yeah.
I had a really interesting thing with him.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what you shared it with me. Somebody on Instagram. He's a coach.
Oh yeah.
God, I love this guy.
I know. Someone sent it to me.
Yeah. He just.
We should shout out the account.
I
can't remember it right now.
Yeah, but anyways, I had a situation with my son. He's this guy who's like looking back over his life with his daughter who played club and then went on to play the college, and kind of realizing where he messed things up and where he sees parents messing things up, and it's so good.
Yeah.
But I had a situation with my son the other day. I picked him up and he had a training he was going to go to. The time got moved later, and he's like, man, I'm like, what's wrong? He goes, oh, nothing. I know, I can tell something's wrong. What's going on? He's like, no, I'm fine. I'm like, was there something else you wanted to do, or did you not want to go? Because this is your choice. Like,
right.
Don't go if you don't go. No, it's the right thing to do. I'm like, whoa. What do you mean it's the right thing to do?
Yeah.
Well, I need to get my training in. I got to get better. I got to get the work in. I'm like, all right. I said, buddy, I think there's something else you want to do, and I just want you to tell me. Well, I'll tell you, but I don't want to do it. I'm like, okay, well, what is it? He's like, well, my school's having a skate night tonight, and all my buddies are going to go, and I really wanted to go, but I got to do the right thing. And I said, Gavin, the right thing is you're 10 years old. Go be a kid.
Yes, absolutely.
He's like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, the most important thing for you to do right now is to go be a kid.
Yep.
I said, if you choose football over something like this, you're eventually going to resent football.
Yes.
I said, so today, you're a 10-year-old little boy whose only job is to be a little kid and go have some fun with your friends.
Good for you.
And he went and had the best time.
Nice.
They sent me videos of him. Like, he started off with like the little rail guard thing.
Yeah. It looks like a walker.
Yeah, a little walker. Yeah. And I was just that moment. He came home was so happy. And it's like, God, like, told him, like, you got to be a kid first right now.
Absolutely.
You know, if you're in high school, and I get it, like,
Yeah.
it's bigger commitments,
Sure.
and then you make
Sure.
the quote unquote right choice.
Yeah.
So right now, the right choice is to be a 10-year-old little kid and go have some fun. And I know that was the right call, especially after reading and going through this guy's Instagram and all the things, how he talks about it.
Oh, yeah. It's good.
Because then the next day he goes to his next training and he just kills it. Like,
Right,
he's
right.
so into it,
Yeah.
like, so fired up.
Yeah.
But I know if he would have prevented
Done the
him
right
from going,
thing.
done the right thing, resentment would just build up over
Sure,
time.
sure.
So, I was really big on just telling him, like, no, you're a 10-year-old kid first.
Yes.
Your main job is to be a kid.
Right.
And have fun, enjoy life, be with your friends. You have all the time in the world to be quote unquote responsible and do the right thing.
Yeah.
So it was and it's funny because I never put the pressure on him. Like,
but you're leading by example though, Brad, and that's what kids see that.
Yeah, but if you look at like Instagram, like, he'll look at all that stuff and all his buddies on Instagram, like, it's all like in the grind, doing the work, like every day they're doing shit, and I've always told them, like, every training is your choice. If you want to go, we'll go. If you don't want to go, we don't go.
Yeah.
I will never make you go do any of this.
Right. At this age.
At this age.
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, you got to love it so much that you want to go do it. I can't push you enough. Like, that'll never work out. It doesn't work out.
Yeah.
The
kids resent it, and you.
Yeah.
That's, it's such a slippery slope and a fine line to walk with the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, you're so right. And that's why I really resonated with his account as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we should put it in the show notes because it's good. But just that it's hard to know exactly the right, my husband was a D1 athlete.
Yeah.
And he played the sport. So he understands, so part of him gets triggered, I'm using the wrong word, sort of shifts, let's say, into he's there on the court with her, and he's had to kind of scale back from that and just, it's hard. And I wasn't an athlete, but I'm watching, and you never want to see your kid not do well, but there's times that they're not going to, and that they're not going to win all of them. And it's weird. It's such a strange phenomenon of knowing how to respond. And the thing that he said about shutting up, waiting till they come to you. Oof.
You one of the best lessons I learned from him, which this person verified. He said the same thing.
Yes.
You cannot react to their mistakes.
Hard.
It's so hard. I remember your husband telling me, like,
yes,
they make a mistake. You can't drop your head. You can't roll your eyes.
No.
It's like it didn't even happen.
Right.
No reaction.
No, I know.
And I've took that one to heart.
Yeah.
And I really work on it because I really see how bad the world is in regards to negative reactions when a kid makes a mistake. And it just blows me away.
Right.
The things parents will say.
Oh, yeah.
So I've worked really, and I still every once in a while I'll be like, oh, I'll drop my head when a mistake happens. No, don't do it. Head up.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel myself going, ooh, like, like I'll kick or I'll do something really crazy. It's but I think that even Quinn has told me that even the cheering, they don't hear it.
Yeah.
They're locked in. Yeah. They do not hear you yelling and what you say. They don't hear you go, good set, good job, nice. They don't hear that.
Yeah.
So if you can work on just being stone faced, which I am so far from.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard.
Yeah. It's hard. Because I'll catch, like, my daughter make a mistake.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Oh.
Like, it's a little pit.
Sure, wants to see if you flinched.
Yeah. 100%. And so I know they're watching.
Mm-hmm.
I say even with my little boy with football, like, if he makes a mistake, I'm a coach on the sideline with him.
Sure.
Like, he's paying attention.
Right.
And I've been really, like, focused with him to never come down on him for making, like, dropping a pass or missing a tackle.
Sure.
The only time I've ever got hard on him on the sidelines is when I see him giving up or not giving max effort.
Okay.
It's happened twice this whole football career where I got into it with him a little bit, just in regards to your teammates need you and you're choosing to give up, or you're choosing not to give your all. Two choices: give your all, stay out there, or if you can't do that, I'm taking you out and putting someone else in that will give their all, because that is not fair to your teammates.
Yeah.
That's happened twice. That's the only time I've ever come down on him.
Do they ever do you ever feel like parents are judging you for always having your son in? Do you know that? I've always wondered about that.
Yeah. So I purposely, I do my best. So, like, his love is wide receiver.
Okay.
I am not the wide receiver coach.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. So and that's his position. He's really good at. I just coach the defense. Yes, I coach the DBs, the safeties, and corners. And he's one of my safeties.
Okay.
But like what he excels at is wide receiver. So I like other people coaching my son, not me, because I want him to learn how to be coachable. I want him to learn how to take criticism. I want him to learn all that stuff at a young age, because I'm not going to always be able to be there.
Right.
So I'm okay coaching him on defense, because I know like he does it because he has to, not because he loves it. So yeah, it's been So it's easier on me that way.
Right.
I think there would be some of that if I was a receiver coach. I could see that possibility happening, but I'm not a part of that. So,
okay, good.
Like my big role is like the special teams coach, which I love, because it's like you're not playing favorites with anyone. It's just all 11 kids all have a job, go out and do the same thing. And so he's on some of those teams, not on some of those teams. So
that works out then.
Well, for me it works out, and I just like having other people coaching my son.
That's important.
Yeah.
I think it's important. Because like you said, you want them to learn how to take orders or, 100%. Directions from someone else.
Yeah. And criticism.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Like our team is really big on look the coach in the eye. Yes, coach.
I love that.
Like they're really big. They're really like, I realize how coachable our kids are in other environments outside of our team. I like that.
And you know what's nice about that is that kind of transcends into other areas. 100%. He's going to be respectful of other adults.
Yes.
Because of that.
Yes.
And that's one of the best things about sports, I think.
Yeah.
Is it teaches, so much more than just the thing at the moment.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I love when my son meets someone new, he walks right up, looks them in the eye, shakes their hand.
Love it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that is the number one reason why I joined this team. It's because when we walked out to the field for his tryout, Coach B, Coach B, walked up, introduced himself.
Yep. Love it.
Looked at Gavin, introduced himself, and Gavin shook his hand like this. He goes, "No, son, you look me in the eyes when you're shaking my hand."
Love it.
I'm like, I'm done. I don't care what else happens here today.
Yeah.
Like, if he's good enough to be here, he's here.
Absolutely.
That to me is so important.
Yeah.
So people comment on all the time, like, oh, "Wow, he's like,
yes,
so confident. Looked me in the eye, shook my hand."
Yeah.
And that's not me. That's just the environment he plays.
I love it.
In regards to this football arena.
But that kind of stuff is so important in life.
Yeah, 100%.
And I had this conversation with Quinn about there are certain. I've talked to her about certain people that she knows that maybe are not as friendly with adults. And she said, "Mom, you are judging people based upon how you and Dad raised Kellen and me." I said, "Absolutely." I'm sorry. I think, like you said, those are important skills to have as an adult,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
Because as we go through life, being able to make eye contact with someone when you're speaking with them, shake their hand, I know it might sound antiquated to some people, but I think that stuff is important.
It shows strength, a sign of strength, confidence, and respect.
Yes.
Versus timid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And plays well with others.
Yeah.
That's important.
100%.
So yeah, I am kind of judging if and maybe that's wrong because we don't know how this person grew up or what have you, but I don't know. I think at a certain point when you become an adult, we have the choice. Okay, because I'm sure you have a few things that you wish and maybe not, but I do. I wish my childhood looked a little differently in certain areas. Are we going to just stay in that stagnant spot, or are we going to try and strive to be better?
Yeah.
And I want to strive to be better.
Yeah.
The constant work on myself is that's why I go to therapy still.
Yeah.
30 years later,
Love that.
Yeah, there's always something to talk about. Believe me, I make notes. I go in there, I sit down, and it's like, okay, here's where we're going to start today. I just think that kind of stuff, having, never thinking that you've arrived is important, because there's always more to learn. There's always more ways to grow. And seeing something like that with your children and how they're, they want to please us. They want to, Matt used to say, and it was something that his father said, you are wearing the family name on your forehead when you're walking out of this house. It's true. You want to represent the family well. And it may look different for different kids. That's fine. Yeah. But just the respect, I think that's huge. So huge.
Yeah. I love it that he's getting it from other men.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I love it too.
It's like he plays, and this team's really good.
Yeah.
That's not why he plays on this team. He plays on this team because of those things. It is like...
And you've told me the horror stories about some of these other teams.
Yes, yeah.
That it's not that way.
No. My son, there's very few teams my son would play for.
Right.
In that world of youth football.
Yeah.
'Cause it's ugly.
Yeah.
This group of men, I like how they talk to the boys.
Yeah.
I like the structure they've created.
And at their age,
Yeah.
so important.
Well, it's funny. They're so committed to it, and the structure's so good. And when you go out to practice, you have 26 little boys busting their butts. Like, yes, coach, on it. No
Love
one's
it.
screwing around.
Love
No
it.
one's wrestling around over here. But when they go to like camps and stuff, it irritates them so much because of how like
Everybody
kids
else
are just like
oh,
fighting with each other and like
interesting.
wasting time.
So
It
they're
drives me
all
nuts.
close. The boys are all close.
Super close.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, I feel like that about Quinn's teammates
Yeah.
too. I mean, they're a great group of girls. I think that's a crapshoot. You don't know how you're gonna
No
what
idea.
you're gonna end up with, and she's been really fortunate with that as well. But it's nice to see. We've had great parents for the team and great teammates. That's such a huge.
Isabel's club team's like that.
Is
this year.
it?
Like they're great parents.
Yeah.
Great girls.
Yeah.
So fun to be
Oh
around.
yeah.
I've been with other clubs in the past where it's like, oh my God, get me out of it. This is like the worst environment ever. The girls were super mean to each other.
Oh,
The
yeah.
parents were just like super catty and cliquey.
Well, that usually goes hand in hand. I feel
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
I was like, this is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Oh,
But the club we're part of now, Apex One, it's just so family oriented.
that's great. That's great.
I remember we were in Reno and the parents just all went, we just had dinner together.
Nice.
It was so fun
Yeah.
and just great people.
Yeah.
And I think that's so valuable for the kids to experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's interesting how, I mean, there's definitely a different way that girls and boys
Oh, for
need to be
sure.
handled, right? When you say,
For
I don't know
sure.
if that's the right term, need to be handled, but need to be
Coached or
coached,
whatever,
trained,
yeah.
what have you.
100%.
Yeah. And you can't, I don't think that crosses over very
No.
often.
It's not.
Right?
From what I've witnessed, it's two completely different worlds.
Yeah. And coaches need to remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, girls are bleeding monthly.
Yeah.
You know, for real.
Yeah.
And you know, and even after they stop, I got news. You still feel like you're going through stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely wild.
One of the biggest things I've seen as training boys and girls, female or male athletes, you have to be very careful you ask a female athlete to do because they will do it exactly as you ask. It's really nice.
Yes.
But you have to be very sure of what you're asking them to do because they are going to do it.
For example, give us a.
I can't really, I don't have a specific example, but like.
Well, it sounds like something might have gone awry.
No. Like they're so into it.
Oh, I see.
Meaning that like you tell a boy to do something, they're going to, well, what about this? I don't know if I want to, what about, I think this way, but I read this on the internet, right? Like girls, like,
Okay.
if you have a good relationship with them and they trust you,
Yes.
whatever you tell them, they are going to do as hard as they can, as best as they can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boys,
got to rein them in a little bit.
you gotta rein them in. Well, I saw, this blog post said I should be doing this, and this podcast said this, and I saw this in the newspaper, not newspaper, we don't use newspaper. Like I saw this on the internet. Oh my gosh, just do it.
Yeah.
And you'll still catch them doing opposite of what you're asking them to do.
Right.
And
Well,
I remember one time I was part of a team, and this kid was doing something different than what I asked him to do. And I went to the coaching staff and I said, hey, I want to have this noted and documented. I'm not responsible for that kid right there.
Oops.
He's like, what? I'm like, that kid is going to blow his ACL. And I want you to know that he's not doing what I'm asking him to do.
What I prescribed.
Who's writing his programs.
Yes.
But I want it documented that I am not part of that.
Yeah.
So when he gets hurt, you guys all know. And sure as shit, the kid ended up getting hurt. Towards the ACL. I was like, Jesus, man. That's what I'm talking about is they have someone that thinks they know more.
Right.
So I'm like, oh my, where girls won't do that.
Yeah.
Girls just be like, okay, I'm in. I'll do it like that. I'm not going to go find someone else and be like, oh, well, this person, I think is smarter than you or whatever.
Yeah.
And he or she's saying to do it like this. So I'm going to override you and do it like that.
Yeah.
I have to be real careful, like with my professional athletes and their strength coaches and stuff like that as well.
I get.
Yeah. Like I have to I really like the strength coaches that will talk to me and have a relationship with me.
That's nice.
Yeah. Some of them will. The great coaches, I think, will. The ones that make me nervous won't.
Yeah.
So, because it's like, I don't want to be that guy who's saying, oh, this is better than that.
Right.
So it's always nice to have a conversation of like, okay, here's the ultimate goal. How are we going to work together to get to that goal? That to me, those are beautiful relationships.
Do you have some clients that are that way right now that you talk to their strength coaches?
Yeah, I talk to their strength coaches. I talk to their body workers.
Oh, nice.
Like Garrett's body worker was just in town for 2 days, and he came and trained with him. And I was like, hey, anything you see, anything you think I need to change, any
said this.
Yeah, any recommendation you have to help,
nice,
please.
Yeah.
And he was like, are you serious? I'm like, yes, because you were with the Dallas Mavericks for 10 years. You saw things I haven't seen.
Yeah.
You're feeling things on his body I can't feel.
Right.
Like, oh, okay. And he had some awesome recommendations.
Oh, cool.
I'm like, hey, moving forward, anything you think of that you think might help on my end, please. And he's
awesome.
like, yeah, same thing to you.
Yeah. Oh, good.
I've learned that that's a really powerful way to take care of high-level athletes.
Makes sense.
To have everyone on the same page versus fighting each other.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they all want the greater good. I mean,
100%. If you're there for the athlete, you want the greater good for the athlete.
Yeah. But that's funny what you said about girls and boys, because I do think Quinn is that way.
She's very much like that.
Following everything you say.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I love it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But I have to be very confident in what I'm going to ask her to do.
Right.
Because I know she's going to do it.
Right. Yeah.
Like I can, when she's at school and she has, like they're not in training, I can give her programs. And I know she's going to do the exact program.
Right.
I gave that to a boy who's, I don't know what the hell he's going to go do in the weight room. Probably not anything I have on the program. But it's one, I like working with female athletes more because of that.
Do you? Remember that book, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus?
Gosh, it's the truth. Yeah. In all arenas.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think we are about out of time.
Are we? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that went quick. That
It
was
did.
Fun. Yeah.
So you've missed me, Brad.
I totally have. It was so much more fun when you're here than
Thank you.
sitting here talking to a screen and no one else around.
Yeah.
I mean, I got Caesar still.
I know. We'll make him, you interview him sometime. The man behind the scenes.
Love it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Good to be
Seeing you.
back. All right.